Let's get you updated on the very latest on the Lauri Markkanen situation with the Utah Jazz. A couple of things that I think we need to clarify. The Jazz have not drugged this out. The Jazz have until August 6th, and really it's probably August 5th if we're talking about time, and they essentially have 3 weeks. If today is the 19th, 2 weeks, excuse me, to trade Lauri Markkanen. And I think that's going to happen. I am at 75% now that they will make that trade. The Jazz, as we're going to talk about in a minute, made a very telling move with the Clippers and Russell Westbrook yesterday that I think indicates this team is in full tank for flag. I think that's exactly where the Utah Jazz are. And if you're the Golden State Warriors, I think you are in a position now where you've got to get aggressive, finding a third team to provide you higher quality first round picks, because that's really the issue that we are looking at now. And I think when you look at the Jazz and the Golden State Warriors, this trade, everybody keeps saying, well, the trade's dead because it hasn't happened yet. It hasn't happened. There is no yet. Their only time hard stop here, I think, is August 5th and a half, right? You really need to have this deal done so that you have time to get a renegotiated contract for this year signed, because that's what this trade is all about. You've got to renegotiate Lauri Markkanen's deal, or he is going to lose a significant amount of money in salary, because he's only making 18 and he needs to make $34 million. I believe the number's $33.8 million exactly to qualify for a larger extension. That's going to happen either with the Utah Jazz or with the Golden State Warriors. I do not believe that the San Antonio Spurs, whose sources yesterday told me have continued to keep in touch with the Jazz on Lauri Markkanen, I do not believe the San Antonio Spurs are the destination. I think it is the Golden State Warriors. I think the Golden State Warriors, from what I have been told by sources close to the Jazz, that they have said that they will trade Pods and Moody as part of a deal to get Lauri Markkanen, which if you're going to trade Podziemski, I say the Jazz have to make that deal. He is a young player, but the thing that will hold that deal up is the quality of the first round picks that are being sent to the Jazz, because Danny Ainge already has a pile of some pretty mediocre first round picks. He has a lot of assets he can deploy here. But what Danny Ainge is now chasing is if he is going to give up Lauri Markkanen, and he will, Danny Ainge is looking for the highest quality first round picks. He does not want top 12 protected picks, which is being offered by, for instance, Atlanta. He does not want a top 12 protected pick. That does not bring value to Danny Ainge. I think he would like to add multiple first round picks for the 2025 NBA draft, because they are chasing, Cooper Flagg. And I think they recognize that there may have to be a package to get them the opportunity to trade up potentially to get Cooper Flagg if they do not lose enough and end up getting that pick, because if you do the math on it, it's not very likely. But Jake, I think in any event, it's not the Jazz desire to trade Lauri Markkanen that's preventing this trade from happening right now today. It is the quality of the first round picks they have access to.
Yeah, and I think that's a very fine line to walk if you're Danny Ainge. I mean, you're coming off the heels yesterday of, having, done yet another transaction where you're essentially just offloading another contract, right? You're essentially just moving another guy along, picking up some picks, and it's very clear what the Jazz are doing. The Jazz are just in low spend mode, and making sure that they don't have anything that's crazy on their cap right now. And I would be shocked if you ever saw this season a guy getting paid more than 20 a year. I would be shocked. More than 25 a year. You're not going to see that. And I think that this Markkanen deal is the best example that we have of that kind of behavior, where you have an owner and a front office who are basically holding up a trade to a Western Conference contender over the quality of the picks that they will be offered. And that, to me, I understand that you got to prioritize the quality of your picks, but there's a fine line. And I think that the last thing you want to do is frustrate somebody because you're so stubborn about the quality of the picks when you've got a whole pile of picks sitting here. I mean, at some point, the picks have to start turning into, on-court success, because that's what we need to be saying. The draft picks you have to turn into on-court success. You got to turn those things into a winning ball club. And so, to be honest, personally, I'm a little burned out on, well, Danny's trying to get the best pick possible. Danny's trying to do this. Danny's trying to do that. I'm ready to start hearing, hey, you moved on from Lauri. You fully embraced the tank mode for this coming season, and you're going to go out and take a run at Cooper Flag. And I swear, if we do not hear at the end of this year, when the next draft is coming up, that Danny Ainge is leveraging all these picks to get to the number 1 overall spot, I'll be shocked and I'll be disappointed. If you do this deal and you don't take a run at Cooper Flag, I don't understand what you're doing. I don't understand the strategy. I really don't. So for me, like it doesn't surprise me to hear that Danny Ainge is being stubborn about picks and trying to get the best one possible. But at some point, like, we need to move along. We need to get this deal done and get on to the business of the Utah Jazz actually taking a direction with this franchise, because I'm still going to sit here and say it. This is all fine and dandy that you got all these young guys on the roster, but they're not going in any type of direction.
I would agree.
Like, you don't have a heading right now. You have picks on your roster. You've got Jordan Clarkson. You've got Colin Sexton, and we're just kind of going to go from there. And that's what I struggle with.
Well, and I think this Russell Westbrook trade, it very clearly demonstrates this. You look at what the Jazz were able to acquire: draft picks, a guy that was drafted in 2021 that's never going to play in the NBA, I would think, a 2030 second round pick that's a swap, and $4.3 million in a sign-and trade deal that brings Russell Westbrook back to Salt Lake City, where they immediately buy him out. And it's a wash for the Jazz. It cost them nothing. They gained a little bit of financial equity in cash. This was a wash. You sent out Chris Dunn, who was one of your more productive players in rotation last year. You brought in a guy in Russell Westbrook that you're going to buy out, and he's going to sign with the Denver Nuggets. So you made the Nuggets better. You made the Clippers better. And what is the net effect for the Jazz? Well, now you have $70 million in full total cap space for the second tax apron. I think it's $30+ million in actual cap space that you're not spending. And now I think you're likely to trade Lauri Markkanen. And it's going to be very interesting to see what you wind up doing with that cap space and those draft picks. Because I am not at all sold that, again, a billionaire in Ryan Smith, who claims to be a billionaire, who I think is only a billionaire on paper, I think he is never going to make a deal, and I shouldn't say never. In the next 2 years, I don't believe he'll make a deal that will add substantial payroll to this team.
Mm-hmm.
Hope I'm wrong. Hope it's just this year. You're tanking and you're trying to get Cooper Flag. Okay, great. You're trying to get multiple first-round picks in a draft that could be pretty deep. Okay, great. But let's not sit here and pretend this guy's spending every penny possible to win an NBA championship, because he's not.
Yeah, and I'm tired of hearing the, hey, we're doing everything we can slogan. Well, you're not doing everything you can. You're not. You've made decision after decision not to win. You've made decision after decision not to accelerate the timeline. You've had opportunities. You've been involved with teams like the Knicks. You've been involved with teams like the Cavs. You're involved right now with a team like the Warriors. Clearly, you've got relationships in Los Angeles. You've done deals with the Lakers. Now you did a deal with the Clippers. You're making everybody in the West better except yourself. So don't tell me that you're doing everything you can to win right now, because you're not. And I understand that you can't just roll out with, well, hey, Jazz Nation, yeah, we're going to suck this year, and don't buy tickets. Don't come to the Delta Center. You're not going to say that, obviously, but I just wish you wouldn't ride the line of, oh, yeah, we're doing everything we can. We're the hottest team in the league. Like, all that nonsense that Ryan rolled out on the Pat McAfee show was exactly that nonsense, marketing shtick, like marketing position. Because the reality is this team isn't spending any money, and we don't know what Danny Ainge would have done with this roster had he been given the green light to go ahead and build a championship contender. Because I'm not the guy like many of you in Jazz Nation who are saying, oh, well, Danny's not doing anything. Well, why do you think that is, man? It's not
This
'cause he
is
just
not Danny
forgot.
Ainge's fault.
Yeah, it's not just because he forgot how to build a roster, dude. So let's have some perspective on Danny.
Yeah, I 100% agree. James, the stadium guy who loves the Big 12, wants to clarify Utah does not suck. The mountains are amazing.
Yeah, I mean, did you get that view from the upper deck, or where'd you see them?
Because we were talking about earlier, somebody said that Utah's underrated, and I said Utah sucks, don't move here, which is actually a marketing position.
Yeah.
It is. There are. I think we did have a sticker on our Jeep that said that.
Yeah.
There's a company dedicated to Utah sucks, don't move here, because we don't want the overcrowd. Try to stay with me. Mike Smith, God, please do not make us sit through 2 weeks of this stuff. Please, small infant baby Monty Jesus, do not punish us with this. Are the Utah Jazz front office trying to play Billy ball? I think there's some of that.
But see, even that, like, they're not. It's not that the Jazz are trying to win and they just don't have money. That's not true. The Jazz are not trying to win. The Jazz are not like the Billy Ball thing. And I'm not making it personal with you, Mike, but I've heard a lot of this. Like, oh, well, they're trying to maximize with these crappy young players. No, they're not. No, they're not. If that was the case, Walker Kessler would have never been coming off the bench last year. If that was the case, you'd have had a definitive starting five with a proper bench rotation, right? Like, but you didn't have that. So you're not trying to win. And I don't buy Will Hardy's going to be here when you win a championship. I don't buy that
most of the guys
like,
on this roster will not be here if and when they win a championship.
Like, come on, dude.
Because the other thing that I think when we talk about Moneyball and what the Jazz are doing, you can't tell me that these moves have not somehow eroded the trust in Ryan Smith from Jazz fans. And if it hasn't, okay, I don't know what else you could, what else does he have to do to show you he's not going to invest money in this team? At least not right now. And he never really has in payroll. Ryan Smith has never spent significant amounts of money on payroll. It's almost since the day he took over, they reduced move by move with a couple of exceptions. So I don't think it's Moneyball. I truly do not think that's not what this is, in my opinion. Brandon, get ready to take on bad contracts and picks. You will have to, if you want better picks, you're going to have to take on a bad contract.
Yep.
And I don't know who that is, because I still maintain that Zach LaVine is, and I know that people keep saying he's not going to get traded. I think there is a percentage chance he gets traded. And it won't be to the Jazz. But the bad contracts that are out there, Nikola Vucevic and Zach LaVine are probably the two worst contracts. Julius Randle is a guy, in my opinion, that's going to get traded. And is that a bad contract? I don't know that I'd say it's a bad contract. I would say that Julius is Julius a guy you trust to every night show up and give you 100% of what he's got.
Show up.
And I'm telling you, I wouldn't buy into that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that Julius is a championship player. That's the problem. I think that he's a nightly contributor. I think he'll give you, his best night is 25 and 10. His worst night is 10 and 10. And his mediocre ass night is like 18 and 6 or 7. Like, that's average for Julius.
Yeah, and he's got about $60 million left. And a player option in one of those years, 25-26 for $30.9 million. That's not a great contract. Now, if Julius Randle is somebody that, shows up every night and is excited and engaged and He's that first round pick of the Lakers from, he's been in the league 10 years already.
Yeah.
If he's the guy that lives up to that hype, and unlike last year when he played 46 games, if he goes back to his 70-game Julius and 25 points a night, and he's going to give you a double-double with 5 dimes, okay, that's not a bad contract for 25 million, 28 million, 30 million. That's not a bad contract. But I don't think you can trust Julius Randle to be that guy. That's the question that I have.
Yeah.
So, Marvell Strickland, trading to cut players is so weak. Yeah, it's a buyout. That's what you did. And I get it. You're tanking for Cooper Flagg. I totally get it. Dude is too focused on the Utah Hockey Club. Well, he's got hundreds of millions of dollars tied up in the Utah Hockey, but he's a billionaire, so it shouldn't impact the Jazz because they're swinging for the fences.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently they're not. Tanner Plumer, the shit-stirring legend of the Monty program. I really do think that one of the biggest factors in the situation is Ryan is not focused on the Jazz right now.
Okay, and that's a fair take. I mean, I think it's fair. I think it's correct. But I think on the flip side of that, Tanner, it's not good enough to just say you're not focused on the Jazz. The Jazz should be the priority. The hockey club should be secondary. Like, you should have if you were so hell-bent on picking up this hockey club and having 2 teams in one building set up, what you should have done is you should have bought the team and then let the hockey people do the hockeying, because you're not going to sell me on Ryan Smith being a hockey guy. Don't try to tell me that you had an ice rink in your backyard as a kid, because all of us know you didn't. And I'm just telling you.
I don't know about that.
But this is the kind of stuff that I hear. Like, Ryan loves to tell you, I'm from Utah. I'm a Utah born and raised guy. Like, go Jazz. Like, I'm carrying the torch from the Millers. And you've done just the opposite. The hockey club is the best example we have of you just ignoring the path of the Jazz and going off into billionaire land in doing it under the guise of making this town better. And it bothers me.
Well, you got awfully close to making the Jazz.
You're not making the Jazz great again. It's not happening. It's not going to happen. Not
Jagga?
for 5 years. Yeah,
Jagga.
You're not wrong, Tanner. But what bothers me is that he made a decision to go out and do this thing with the hockey club, and now everyone's excuse is, oh, well, he's just distracted.
But
okay, is that okay?
The thing that really stands out to me is that you've had assets in cash and draft picks since the day he bought the team. The Utah Jazz have lived on, well, let's see what they're going to do with these assets for 10 years at least. And they've never done anything with those assets that led them to being a championship team. And I know that I'm the asshole and people lose their mind when I say this. They were never on the verge of winning a championship with Rudy and Don.
No.
And we got railed for saying that. But I'm telling you, what has Ryan Smith done that shows you he is committed to spend money or whatever money he has to spend on a championship here? I don't know. I really don't know.
Yeah.
I don't think you can point to something he's done.
No.
And if you're a Jazz fan, tell me how are you not disappointed in this, bro?
Yeah, and I think that, the other thing I would say is that, we've stopped hearing, like, I can't tell you the last time I heard Ryan talk about the Jazz. I can't tell you the last time I heard, Ryan, make an appearance or do anything that wasn't related to the hockey team. And it bothers me because I get it. Like, he is the owner and he's got a huge investment in it. So that's gonna be his priority. But the problem is that you've lost sight of who you are.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear about you being from Utah anymore, because you've gone out into the country and you've brought in business that didn't necessarily need to be brought in. I mean, I'm still trying to understand what was the need here. What's the why? Well, the why is you just wanted to make more money by having a second team in your building.
That you largely are going to be given a renovated downtown through tax incentives. You're not spending your own money.
So how am I supposed to sit here as a 30-year-old basketball fan, not a Jazz fan, just a NBA fan for sure? How am I supposed to sit here and feel good about what's happening? Because again, people misconstrue this. I'm not upset that the Jazz are not good. That's not what I'm upset about. What I'm upset about is that the Jazz are both not good and not heading in the right direction.
And not trying to be good.
And yeah, not trying to be good. Exactly.
Yeah. Mike Smith. So if he is too focused on the hockey team now, what is his excuse prior to getting the hockey team?
There isn't one. That's the point. That's why people were so pissed when we were talking about the fact that he hasn't spent any tangible money on the Utah Jazz. He acquired the team and immediately cut it down. Like, that's what happened.
Well, I don't know that he immediately cut it down. We need to be what he didn't do was spend money to put them over the top. That's what he didn't do. You were on the verge. You were a player away, a difference-making player away from winning a championship.
The first offseason he had, the first real chance he had to make a decision to go out and win a championship, he didn't do it.
I would agree with that.
So if we don't want to say cut it down the first chance he got, fine. Maybe that's too harsh. But the first chance you had, you didn't go and win a championship.
You didn't upgrade the roster. You didn't go and get somebody that was a running mate to Donovan Mitchell. And again, Jazz fans are going to tell you, well, we had Bojan Bogdanovic, who was not a running mate to Donovan Mitchell. You didn't have a guy in Rudy Gobert who was a championship caliber player. We've now seen that in Minnesota as well. So you didn't go and get that second superstar that you desperately needed. Because you look at Mike Conley. Mike Conley was a more than serviceable player. You look at the additions that they did, the Jared Vanderbilts of the world, you didn't go and get a star. You didn't go get another guy that was better than what you had in that place already. They did not do that. Brady Cook, wish Ryan would have come on the program. You guys could finally get some answers so what direction he is taking the team. Ryan Smith does not go anywhere where he doesn't know what the questions already are. Who are you, Joe Biden? If you look like the Pat McAfee interviews, those are the literal display of what soaking looks like is Ryan Smith going on the Pat McAfee show, where Pat only makes jokes about Mormons and soaking.
And then tells you that the Utah Jazz are one of the hottest teams in the league.
That's it. No advice. That's actually a good contract. He's coming off of an all-NBA season for only $25 million. But, dude, he's talking about Julius Randle. It's a good contract if Julius Randle is the 25-10 guy. I don't want to pay $60 million for a guy to play 45 games a year and, by all accounts, have some attitude issues. That's really difficult if you are, and think about the teams that would want to pick him up. If you are the Dallas Mavericks, if you are the LA Clippers, if you are, I doubt he's a fit with the Lakers. I just don't see how that would work. You would have redundancy with him. But if you look across the league in the places he would fit, you can't take the risk of an unplugged Julius Randle. If you're going to pay him, and let's round it to $30 million on average a year for the next 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
And if he gives you 25 points, 10 rebounds, and 5 dimes, worth every penny of it. If he plays 70 games doing it, worth every penny of it. If he doesn't give you that 25, 10, and 5, and he gives you 18, 6 or 7 rebounds, and he does it with a bad attitude, I'm not interested in paying Julius Randle $60 million. I'm not. The no advice says, I don't know what I'm talking about. Okay, that's cool. Ryan Smith's receding hairline. Russ is my favorite player in the NBA. All he does is save me money. There is something to that. Giggity, Ryan isn't too busy with the hockey club. He's too busy spending the taxpayers' money. Exactly. And making terrible uniforms and branding decisions again. Marvell Strickland. We have a wonderful opportunity to win. Instead, I guess we're clowning around and tanking. Ryan Smith has destroyed this team. At this point, if we keep losing, we'll be more like the old Sacramento Kings. I think at some point, and Ryan will never say it publicly, once the hockey team is on, I think he wants to win a Stanley Cup with the hockey team to prove a point. I don't know that he will do that. I think he is hoping to catch lightning in a bottle. They had a really good draft. They did solid things in free agency. I think he'd like to try and catch lightning in a bottle and win a Stanley Cup. I don't think that happens. But they're going to have every resource they need. New facilities. They're going to renovate Delta Center. They're going to put in a hockey facility at Delta Center next year. You're going to have momentum for the next 18 months on the hockey team if you simply show up.
Yeah. Yeah.
We show up.
We show up. Yes, we do. You hate when I do that.
No, I don't. You know what it is, dude? Like, I'm trying not to be an asshole about Ryan. And what I'm really trying to do is find something positive to say. And I'm struggling to do that. Because I like, you don't leave me much place to go, dude. Like you don't leave me a lot of ways to say, yeah, you're doing a good job here. You're doing a good job there. To be honest with you, I don't even understand why there's a hockey club here. I don't get it. Like, there's not a real reason.
Randall puts up 25-9 and 47%. He's only getting $25 million a year. No, he's not getting $25 million a year. He's getting 28.9. I think he's getting his total value owed is $60 million over the next 2 years. If Julius Randle is plugged in, you're fine with that. But the idea that he's not making $50 million versus $60 million is a hell of a lot of fucking money in the NBA. That's a huge difference. Let's hope Smith doesn't buy the Celtics. He won't.
So let me get this right, dude. You're calling us clowns. You're saying we don't know what the hell we're talking about. Dude played 46 games last year. He averaged 24 points a night. He's not averaging 29.
And they've been trying to trade him for 2 years. It's an attitude issue with Julius.
He can't shoot the three. He is only 31% from three. He's not a great 3-point shooter for a 4. Like,
all I'm saying is, and I don't know why you get so pissed off. They've been trying to trade him for 2 years. The best run they've had in recent memory came without him. And if he was, if he were healthy, I'm sure he would have contributed and made them better. But the bottom line is, he's been awkward for them for multiple seasons. And then he got hurt. Well, everybody in New York got hurt last year. But the bottom line is, you owe the guy $60 million. And if he's plugged in and engaged, you're right. I don't think it's a bad deal. If he's got an attitude problem, that's a bad contract for $60 million.
Yep.
Especially with the teams that need Julius Randle, that would trade for him and count on him. Can you imagine Golden State counting on Julius Randle? He shows up with a bad attitude.
Yeah, I'll take Lauri Markkanen.
Yeah, me too. Me too. We're going big game hunting, bitches. Exactly right. Exactly right. He's been 25-10 the past 3 seasons.
Okay, here, let me tell you his stats.
Okay, if he's been so amazing, why have they been trying to trade him for 2 years? Why have they been trying to trade Julius Randle for 2 years? Give him this. Why are we arguing over Julius Randle? Well, go ahead.
This past season, 23-24, 46 games, 24-9. 2023 was probably the best year of his career.
Correct.
77 games, 25-10. Okay, great year.
Not a great team.
Not a great team, exactly. 21-22, he plays 72 games, only averages 20 points a night and 9 boards. Like, you're trying, you think we're saying Julius sucks. That's not what we're saying. We're saying that his stats and his attitude and the way he goes about the game doesn't justify a $60 million contract. And by the way, just want to point this out. If you can't have a good attitude in New York and you can't be consistent in New York, you really think this guy's going to roll up in Salt Lake City and be excited to play?
And he's going to be 30 years old this year.
Yeah.
For a power forward who's been in the league 10 years, if his attitude sucks and his body's breaking down, which is what you're worried about with Julius, because again, he's going into his age 30 season and he just missed half the season last year. And allegedly he has an attitude problem and you owe him $60 million. You need to know where the guy is. You need to know, is he physically ready to compete? Is he mentally ready to compete? If he's such a great contract, why have the Knicks been trying to trade him? Because he has an attitude problem. Like, I'm not saying it's a terrible contract. I'm saying it's a bad contract if he's not plugged in. That's what I'm saying. Man. One other note, everybody yesterday that was, where are all the folks that were on the show yesterday saying that we were wrong about the TNT deal? So two people yesterday were arguing with us over whether or not Warner Brothers Discovery / TNT had the right to match the new NBA TV contract. I said yes. Everybody's like, you're an idiot. They don't. The clock is ticking on TNT's 40-year relationship with the NBA. After finally getting to see competitive third-party bids from Prime Video and Amazon Wednesday night, TNT has 5 days to match one of the offers.
Oh.
So for everybody asking, here's the scenario. TNT is not going to match ESPN or NBC. TNT would like as I told you, our sources told us several weeks ago, almost a month now, I think. TNT just wants a small streaming game of the week from the NBA. Sounds like what Amazon got. My guess is because Amazon's getting the NBA, the NBA wants Amazon Prime Sports to have the NBA. That's going to happen. My guess is Warner Brothers Discovery is going to pay a small nominal fee to have a game of the week. And I think it will be on stream. The days of, multiple nights a week on TNT are over.
Yeah.
But that deal, and I think it is very telling that TNT just doesn't want to spend the money to be a big boy in sports anymore.
Well,
they want to spread their sports money out.
And I don't think the NBA on TNT, that group of guys and that broadcast needs multiple games a week. I think the uniqueness of that show, the speciality, if you will, of that show thrives in a once a week format.
Do you really think they keep the NBA inside the NBA together?
And I'd love to see that happen.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah, but again, like you can't. So what you can't do here, and I will be disappointed if they don't keep those guys together. There's no point. I don't want to hear from Seth Greenberg and D Wade. I'm sorry, I don't want to hear from you. I don't want to hear from Jamal Crawford.
Lefko.
Yeah, I don't want to hear from Lefko, dude. Like I want my guys. I want Kenny and Shaq and Charles and I want the boys, dude. I want that group of dudes to do it.
And again, if you look at the importance of this coming season, I think we are officially hitting the ignition button on the LeBron farewell seasons. Kevin Durant's not getting younger. Steph Curry's not getting younger. You look at the transformative moves in the Western Conference, whether it's Paul George going to Philly. Hell, I mean, if Julius Randle, in fact, does end up in a Dallas Mavericks uniform, they're going to contend for a title. Like, you're seeing the changing of the guard in the NBA. And I think the next 2 years are going to be transformative for this league. And I think the TV contract's going to be part of that. Because we're going to talk about Netflix later in the show. But how important is streaming in your life?
Massive.
I only watch TV on stream. I don't have cable or direct TV anymore. I have YouTube TV. And if you look at sports, I subscribe to the League Pass. I subscribe to the Sunday Ticket. I subscribe to YouTube TV. That's the future. And it's got to be a thing where I can watch it on my phone, my tablet, or my TV. And I just don't think, I'm not willing to pay Discovery Channel app to watch the NBA. I'm not willing to do that. Well, and we said this the other day with Max.
Yeah, I think that those parts of the deal are directly pointed at the person who's not a nightly NBA fan, that it has 3 kids and is watching
Yes.
Animal Planet on Discovery or
And
whatever.
if you're Time Warner Brothers Discovery is what it's called. Do you really think putting an NBA game of the week on the and I believe it would be HBO Max
Yeah.
on the Max app? Do you really think that's going to get people to subscribe? Because I'm not watching the NBA on Max. I get it for free through Amex.
Yeah.
Because with the Platinum card, they give it to you for free. I'm not watching the NBA on Max. I'm a Bulls fan. It hurts me to say that out loud. But as a casual observer of Devin Booker, of the Lakers,
Yeah.
the guy, because I can't possibly watch every Bulls game. I will shit myself nightly if I do that. And I can't afford a new couch.
And it's going to be worse this year than it was last year, dude.
The Bulls are going to be bad.
I love how, quick sidebar, I love how when Team USA played Team Australia earlier in the week, I believe it was, maybe that was Friday.
Shrimp on the Barbie, right?
They go, yeah, wow. Josh Giddey looks amazing. Holy cow. He's going to be a real difference maker for the Bulls.
Kind of funny how he finished with under 15.
Yeah, first team all under 15 out here, battling against Team USA. And I was like, yeah, dude, that's cool. But don't try to sell me the Bulls are going to be better. And as someone, over here who watches the NBA on a nightly basis through the League Pass, yeah, it's not fun to watch the Bulls. But if the Bulls are on Max, you're not going out of your way to watch that game. Right? Like I'm sure they're going to have premier matchups and everything. They're going to have the national game, be, Lakers and Warriors or something, or some kind of great matchup. But I'm just telling you, those odds and ends of this, the bigger picture of this deal are pointed at people who are not NBA fans.
Yes.
They're pointed at people who are already on that app and they want that fan to come in. I'm telling you, if you're any type of fan, we're going to have NBA every single night. And I thought that was a really, really smart strategy by the league. Understand who you are, understand where you're going, and understand that people love to come home from work and flip on hoop while they're making dinner.
Is cable dead? Scott of Greywater Watch says cable is dead. And this is a really interesting comment. Because I think cable is dead. Yeah. I get my internet through Comcast.
Yeah, and I think the fact that your generation has embraced streaming has accelerated cable's death.
Well, I get free cable. I don't have it connected. Because I pay $8,000 a day for high-speed internet. I get free Comcast cable if I want it. I don't have it connected. I don't have, like, one of the things, we just redid our backyard so I can be really shitty at golf. And the DirecTV dish is still back there. It's not connected. It just, let this shit sink in, man. I tend to think cable is dead. And if you're still a cable subscriber, I'm curious why you haven't gone to streaming. Because all of the TVs on this planet, right? Like your TV is if you bought a TV in the last 2 years, and I had to actually get a new TV.
Right.
I had an 80-inch Samsung that couldn't stream because the internet card in that TV was 7 years old. And I had an LG TV that was 10 years old, could not stream. So I had to buy not one, 2 new TVs. I got an Amazon Fire TV, fantastic. 75 inches.
Yeah, I feel like that's been a great TV for you.
Yeah, and I have a 50, 60-inch TV here in our studio.
Yeah.
Fantastic. I think if you bought a TV in the last 2 years, you have no excuse to have cable or dish. It just doesn't make a lot of sense.
Well, and again, I think the thing that really, accelerated the death of cable is being able to access it on my phone. Like I can be watching the game at home, and then if I gotta run out at night to go to the store or something, just pull the app up on your phone, and you're good to go, and you can keep up.
Stay steady, man. I mean, that's what you have to do. We are a connected society. I can watch YouTube TV on my phone.
Hell, I was watching
on my tablet
YouTube
or on my
TV
TV
on a plane, last month. Like, I had it pulled up. Like, you get on the Wi-Fi in the Delta plane, you can watch YouTube TV. I mean, it's perfect.
Scott of Greywater Watch. Gil Arena should be hired by NBC. Easily the new inside. Gilbert Arenas, you mean? There's a lot of NBA talent. I mean, JJ Redick's one of the best. Oh, wait. Coach of the Lakers now. JJ Redick's the coach of the.
Yeah, what did he say? The engagement farming industry has never been stronger.
Yeah. Mosiah Mack. Netflix about to get WWE 2. Oh, is that right? Did you see the Netflix numbers, you guys?
And his name is John Cena.
Didn't John Cena just retire?
He did.
Yeah, I think he got body slammed and it broke his dick in it. No, never mind.
Stay hard.
Netflix continued to add new customers in the second quarter and raised the low end of its forecast for a full year revenue growth. The streaming company added, and this is the second quarter, 8 million subscribers in the second quarter.
Yeah, no problem. Low key.
Compared to 5.8 million last year.
We show up.
Revenue rose to $9.56 billion in the second quarter.
I'm for real.
I said, God damn. I subscribe to Netflix.
Watch Netflix every day.
Who doesn't?
Yeah. Honestly, I watch Netflix every day on lunch.
I don't watch Netflix every day. But I watch it enough. Isn't Bridgerton on Netflix?
I don't know. I'm not a Bridgerton guy.
Anyway, I'm just telling you, Netflix is dominating.
Yeah.
And I think that's the future of where we're at.
Yeah, no doubt.
Right? I think that's where we're at. OG Gary, yeah, cable is dead. However, the model has gone to streaming, YouTube TV. No Advice says cable is dead. UW fan Jim, Roma Dunze, who signed his contract with the Chicago Bears. Caleb Williams, Roma Dunze, the Bears.
Did we ever get clarity?
Winning the fucking Super Bowl. The Bears. Chicago.
Caleb's
Chicago.
The whole don't salary cap me or whatever.
Listen, sir.
Don't tag me.
Listen. You get his name out your mouth.
Dude, why are you this hard over Caleb Williams, first team all nail polish?
Asshole. He's all I have to hang on to. I'm a Chicago sports fan. I got nothing. I got nothing but fingernail polish on my quarterback to hang on to. And you're wondering why I'm so hard over this?
Stay hard.
Are you kidding me right now? It's all I got.
Oh, Marty, Roman Dunze signed his contract. We're ready to go. We're ready to rock and roll.
Bros, the Bears is all I have. The Bears. As a Chicago sports fan, the Bears is all I've got.
What, the Chicago Fire aren't getting it done for you?
I don't know who they are. My point is, I'm a diehard Cubs fan. We signed Dansby Swanson, and he apparently doesn't own a bat because he don't know how to hit. Cody Bellinger farted and tore an abdominal muscle. The Cubs are dead. The Bulls literally farted out more crap than they got for Alex Caruso.
You straight up traded Caruso for essentially nothing.
Shut up, Jake. We literally traded Alex Caruso for a guy that likes underage girls and was investigated as a pedo. That's what we got back for Alex Caruso. And you're asking me why I'm excited about nail polish guy. Are you kidding me right now? That's all I fucking have. My football coach at Notre Dame can't count past 10. Yet on the Jim Rome podcast, Marcus Freeman, he used to play for the Chicago Bears. He's amazing. Daddy. Unless it's goal line against Ohio State, and then the motherfucker puts 10 guys on the field. He's amazing. But we had Manti Te'o's girlfriend playing safety in that set. Yeah.
Hell out of here with that.
I got to watch Brian Kelly. Oh, Brian Kitten.
Family. What happened, Brian? Your accent left at this year's media day?
So
Come
when
on.
everybody wonders why the sex machine is my favorite quarterback, and that'd be Justin Herbert, there's a chance during this football season, and it's 50 fucking days away, folks. We are under 2 months until kickoff. If nail polish guy turns into a quarterback, Justin Herbert's dead to me. Dead to me. I will swaddle myself in Caleb Williams' mother's bosoms.
You ought to know you bought it.
I'll do it just like he did when he weeped off the field after his college career ended in another failure for Lincoln Riley, you prick. I feel better now.
Wow. That was iconic.
I feel better now. Ghost of Gumby, I don't show up for Netflix. Really? Okay. Since last match will be at WrestleMania next year. Okay. 50 Cent is a wrestler now.